If you're enjoying this journey through time, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And tell me, where in the world are you listening from right now? Good, because we're about to go somewhere ancient, somewhere challenging. The year is 1347 BCE, and the first whisper of dawn is stirring across the sprawling floodplain of the Nile. A sharp, acrid smoke stings your nostrils, carrying the scent of damp reeds and slow-burning dung, a familiar morning signature. You stir on a mat spread over the packed dirt floor of your tiny mud brick home. The air inside is thick and stagnant, heavy with the breath of too many bodies, the rustle of unseen insects in the thatch, and the distant bleating of a goat. Cracks in the mud walls, thin as spider webs, offer slivers of pre-dawn light, painting faint, shifting patterns on the opposite wall. Outside, the sun, still hidden, is already a looming presence, promising another day of relentless heat. You push yourself up, your joints protesting with a dull ache from yesterday's unending labor in the fields. Your bare feet meet the cool, gritty earth of the floor, immediately reminding you of the journey ahead. A small bowl of fermented beer sits beside a flatbread, your morning meal, simple and utterly predictable. The taste is bitter, yet nourishing, a fleeting comfort before the day truly begins. You splash a handful of water from a shared clay pot onto your face, the coolness a shock against your skin, before wiping your eyes with the back of your hand. No fancy soaps, no refreshing pastes, just the river's bounty. Stepping out, the world assaults your senses. The air, though still early, is already heavy, humid and warm against your exposed linen tunic. The sun, a searing orange orb, has just crested the eastern horizon, instantly turning the dewy path into a radiant furnace. You wince as your feet, accustomed but never truly comfortable, meet the burning sand. Each step sends a jolt through your blistered soles, a testament to countless dawns just like this. The flies are already active, a buzzing cloud around the communal well, and the rich, earthy smell of the Nile's fertile silt mixes with the sharper tang of human waste and distant baking bread. Ahead, the river calls, a shimmering ribbon under the rapidly climbing sun. You join the steady stream of figures, each a silhouette against the blinding glare, their movements slow, deliberate, burdened by the weight of a new day. There is no question of rest, no thought of a different life. The fields await, the water must be hauled, the grain must be threshed. Your body is a tool, and it must be put to use, from the very first light until the last. The warmth of the rising sun feels less like a comfort and more like a brand, marking you for the hours of toil to come. You simply keep moving, one raw foot after the other, towards the endless demands of the dawn. The thick, earthy smell of the Nile assaults you, a complex scent of damp soil, decaying reeds, and the faint, briny hint of fish. Your bare feet sink into the yielding, cool mud at the river's edge, a brief, deceptive comfort against the sun-baked path. But the bank is a treacherous, slippery expanse, alive with the buzzing of countless insects and the unseen slither of hidden life beneath your toes. You grip the heavy clay pot, its rough surface warm against your calloused hands, already aching from the morning's work. With a grunt, you lower it into the murky, swirling water, feeling the powerful tug of the current against the vessel. Lifting it back, now impossibly heavy, strains your shoulders, a familiar, burning ache that travels down your spine and into your weary legs. Water drips from the sides, soaking your simple linen tunic, clinging to your skin in the already oppressive, humid heat. The sun beats down relentlessly, a searing white disk reflecting off the water in blinding flashes that make you wince. Sweat stings your eyes, mixing with the fine dust that seems to perpetually coat everything around you. You squint, trying to ward off the glare. Flies, tiny and persistent, swarm around your face, landing on your lips, your eyelids, seeking any trace of moisture. You swat them away, an automatic, almost unconscious gesture repeated 1,000 times a day, every day. Every breath you take is thick with the scent of the river, its life-giving and potentially disease-carrying elements intertwined in the humid air. This water, this very river, is everything. It feeds the crops that grow into the grain for your daily bread and the fermented beer that sustains you. It nourishes the sparse vegetables that sometimes accompany your meal. Without its constant flow, there is simply nothing. You picture the simple meal awaiting later: more coarse bread, a few onions, perhaps some lentils if you're fortunate. Meat is a distant luxury, a Pharaoh's indulgence, not for hands like yours, perpetually caked in the life-sustaining, yet often challenging, mud of survival. Hours blur into an endless rhythm of lifting, hauling, stepping, bending. Your muscles scream their protest, but you push through, driven by the stark necessity of the coming night, and the inevitable demands of the next dawn. The dampness of the riverbank seeps into your very bones, a constant, heavy reminder of where you stand, and what you are within this vast, ancient world. There's no escaping the raw, untamed force of this river, nor the unending demands it places on your very existence. You are a fundamental part of its ceaseless breath, living and laboring within its unyielding cycle, until your own breath ultimately gives way. The air hits you first, a thick, living wall of heat and 1,000 smells. Sweat, dust, and something sharp, almost sweet, that you recognize as a distant stall selling rare spices. Your bare feet, already raw from the journey from the fields, scuff against the packed earth, dodging refuse and the restless hooves of a tethered donkey. The sun, a brutal hammer above, glints off the distant Nile, but here, under the makeshift awnings and woven mats, it's a swirling cauldron of humanity. The market hums with a chaotic symphony. The low murmur of 100 voices, the occasional bray of livestock, the soft thud of sacks being dropped, and the distinct, almost metallic clatter of clay pots or wooden tokens exchanged as goods change hands. You navigate the narrow pathways, your linen tunic clinging to your skin, already damp with perspiration. Every breath you take is rich with the scents of dried dates, pungent onions, and the faint, unmistakable odor of fish from a nearby vendor. You clutch your offering tighter, a small, carefully mended fishing net, your hands still aching from its meticulous repair. It's what you hope to trade for a few more days of sustenance. Your eyes scan the stalls, seeking out a stack of flatbread, or perhaps a meager handful of lentils. A vendor, his face etched with sun and age, catches your gaze. He beckons with a slight flick of his wrist. You approach, holding out your net. He takes it, his fingers quickly assessing the craftsmanship, then tosses it back with a dismissive gesture. He points to a small pile of withered vegetables, then back to your net, indicating a portion you know is too small. You shake your head, gesturing more broadly at the pile, your brow furrowed. A subtle push of your hand, a slight shake of his head. The tension is palpable, the silent negotiation a dance of survival. Your stomach gives a hollow rumble, a stark reminder of the stakes. This isn't a game, it's the daily fight for enough. The exchange continues, a silent battle of wills and needs. You can feel the eyes of others, waiting, watching. There's no pity here, only the sharp edge of necessity. Every ounce of your limited strength and cunning is poured into this moment, into securing a basic meal for your family. The heat presses down, the air grows heavier, and the clamor of the market becomes a suffocating embrace. Even here, amidst the bustle of commerce, the sheer, relentless physical and mental drain of simply existing is an ever-present companion. Every day is a negotiation, a test of endurance, a testament to the sheer will to survive. The coarse grain of the bread scratches against your tongue, dry and rough, but undeniably solid. You tear off another piece, the familiar texture of promise of sustenance after a day that felt impossibly long. A gulp of the thick, fermented beer follows, its bitter tang cutting through the dryness, a familiar, comforting fire in your throat. This is your evening meal, just as it was your morning, and just as it will be tomorrow. The bedrock of your survival. You sit cross-legged on the packed dirt floor of your cramped mud brick home, the air still heavy with the day's heat. The dim light from a small oil lamp flickers, casting long, dancing shadows on the rough walls and illuminating the faces of your family around you. Each movement is a quiet, deliberate act of nourishment. You peel an onion, its sharp, pungent scent momentarily clearing the stuffy air. Then bite into its crisp layers. A welcome burst of flavor amidst the simple staples. Sometimes there are lentils or a few hearty vegetables from the garden, but these are often fleeting additions. Flies, drawn by the lingering scent of food, buzz around your face, a constant, irritating companion. You swat them away with a flick of your wrist, a motion as ingrained as breathing. The dirt floor is cool beneath your legs, but you know that unseen scorpions might still stir in the darkness, a quiet, ever-present threat. The lingering smell of stale smoke from the cooking fire mixes with the earthy scent of the mud walls and the close proximity of too many bodies. Each bite, each sip, replenishes the strength you've expended under the unforgiving sun, tilling the fields or hauling water from the Nile. There's no rich meat, no exotic fruits, no delicate pastries to tempt your palate. That is the luxury of others, those who live in grander houses, far from the daily struggle for bread and beer. Your food is a direct gift from the river's fertile embrace, a testament to the land's generosity and your own ceaseless labor. You chew slowly, savoring the simple, vital flavors that keep your body moving, that fuel the unending cycle of work and rest. The warmth of the beer spreads through you, a temporary balm against the ache in your muscles, the persistent fatigue that never quite leaves your bones. This basic, repetitive diet isn't about pleasure, it's about endurance. It's the raw, unadorned taste of survival, fueling a body designed not for comfort, but for the stark, relentless demands of another dawn. The air inside your small mud brick dwelling is a thick, earthy soup, heavy with the scent of damp clay, stale cooking smoke, and the unmistakable, warm breath of a tethered goat that shares your family's cramped space. It's an intimate, inescapable smell, clinging to the rough woven mats and the few simple belongings tucked into niches in the wall. You pull your bare foot back from a curious fly buzzing near your toes, its tiny wings a soft, persistent whir in the dim light. Your fingers trace the uneven, sun-baked surface of the mud bricks that form your walls, feeling the fine dust that seems to perpetually settle on everything. There's no escaping it. Every movement, every shift of your weight on the packed dirt floor, sends a faint plume dancing in the shafts of light filtering through the small, high ventilation holes. The room feels impossibly small, a humble box offering scant refuge from the relentless Egyptian sun outside, yet trapping its oppressive heat within its very fabric. The quiet murmurs of your family, just an arm's length away, fill the silence, a constant, reassuring presence but also a stark reminder of the utter lack of private space. You hear the rustle of straw as someone shifts on their sleeping mat, the soft cough of an elder, the barely audible sighs of children already dreaming. Every sound, every breath, every minor movement echoes in this confined enclosure. There's no escaping the proximity, no quiet corner to truly call your own. As your eyes adjust, you scan the floor for any unwelcome guests, a quick darting shadow, the telltale shimmer of a scorpion, or the unsettling ripple of a snake. These are not just stories, they are genuine, everyday threats in a home open to the desert's creeping life. You've learned to move with a certain caution, your senses always alert, even within these familiar walls. Your simple linen tunic, the same one you've worn all day, feels coarse against your skin, unable to completely guard against the dust or the occasional bite of an industrious insect. This is the very essence of your refuge, basic, functional, and teeming with life, both welcomed and unwelcomed. The mud brick shadows hold the day's heat, slowly releasing it into the night, making sleep a fitful dance with warmth and the ceaseless hum of unseen creatures. It's a life lived close, intimately connected to the earth, the animals, and the undeniable reality of constant, shared space. Here, survival isn't just about fighting the outside world. It's about navigating the demanding, crowded environment of your own meager home. A low, persistent hum of insects invades the quiet of the night, a symphony of buzzing that dances around your ears and settles on your exposed skin. The air, though slightly cooler than the scorching day, still hangs heavy and humid, thick with the scent of dry earth and the distant, unseen river. You shift on your worn reed mat, feeling the cool, gritty texture of the packed dirt floor beneath you, a familiar bed that offers little true softness. Darkness provides a thin veil, but it doesn't diminish the feeling of closeness, of other bodies stirring nearby, each breath a quiet echo in the shared courtyard space. Your eyes, accustomed to the dimness, try to pierce the gloom, scanning the perimeter, a subconscious habit born of necessity. You know what lurks in the shadows beyond the faint glow of a neighbor's small oil lamp. The scuttling of beetles, the potential slither of a snake seeking warmth, or the sharp, venomous threat of a scorpion emerging from a crack in the mud brick. Every rustle, every faint scritch, sends a subtle ripple of awareness through you. Your simple linen garment, the same one you've worn all day, offers scant protection. It's designed for the day's intense heat, not for fending off the persistent bites of night-active insects that leave itchy welts on your arms and legs. You pull your knees closer, trying to make yourself a smaller target, but the relentless buzzing seems to find every patch of skin. Sleep, when it comes, is a shallow, interrupted affair, a constant negotiation with discomfort and the unseen dangers that share your living space. The smells of the day linger, too. The faint, stale scent of cooking, the dry dust, the lingering animal breath from the tethered livestock nearby. There's no quiet, sterile chamber for peaceful slumber. This is your night, spent under the vast, star-strewn sky, yet confined by the immediate, living realities of your home. You feel the slow, steady rhythm of your own heart, a fragile beacon of life in a world that demands constant vigilance, even when the sun has mercifully departed. This thin cover of darkness offers not escape, but a different kind of challenge, a subtle, primal test of endurance until the first hint of dawn. The metallic clang of bronze against stone rips through the morning air, a sharp, insistent rhythm that immediately tightens your jaw. Fine, gritty dust, already warm, dances in the first rays of the sun, coating your tongue with a chalky film and stinging your eyes. You shift your weight, feeling the uneven, sharp edges of quarried rock digging into the soles of your bare feet, hardened but never truly immune to the brutal terrain. You grip the rough wooden handle of your tool, your calloused hands, thick and scarred, knowing its every imperfection. With a grunt, you bring the heavy mallet down, aiming for the precise crack you've been widening for hours. Thwack! The impact rattles up your arm, jarring your shoulder, a familiar shock that vibrates through your entire body. Around you, dozens of other laborers echo your movements, a rhythmic symphony of human effort and brute force. Clang, thwack, scrape. This is the quarry's song, relentless and unyielding, dictating the pace of your very breath. The sun climbs higher, an indifferent, blazing eye in the vast blue. Sweat, a constant stream, runs down your face, mixes with the dust, and forms muddy streaks on your skin. Your minimal linen tunic, thin and coarse, offers little more than a suggestion of cover, letting the sun burn your shoulders and arms, leaving them raw and exposed to the biting insects that seem to thrive even in this hostile environment. There's no shade, no respite, only the endless expanse of rock reflecting the heat back at you. You heave at a dislodged stone, its weight immense, feeling the strain in your lower back, a constant throb that has become a part of you. The air is thick, not just with dust, but with the combined effort of hundreds of bodies, their grunts and heavy breathing, an unspoken understanding of shared burden. You move slowly, deliberately, conserving every ounce of energy, knowing that to falter is to risk not eating, not surviving another scorching day. Hunger, the very survival of your family, is a far more potent motivator. Hour after hour, the work continues. The sun reaches its zenith, then slowly begins its descent, but the heat lingers, a suffocating blanket. Your throat is parched, your lips cracked, and every muscle in your body screams its protest. Yet, you continue, chipping, levering, hauling, driven by the knowledge that this monumental effort, this back-breaking rhythm, is your only path. It's a constant battle against the stone, against the sun, against your own failing strength, a testament to the sheer, unyielding demand of ancient life. Your hands, perpetually stained with stone dust, are living maps of this struggle, each callus a mark of another day endured, another monument slowly, painfully brought to life. The sharp, piercing shriek of a reed whistle tears through the pre-dawn quiet, ripping you from a shallow, dreamless sleep. Your muscles, already protesting the last day's labor, tense on the coarse mat you call a bed. It's not a gentle wake up, but a brutal summons, echoing across the closely packed dwellings, rousing every tired soul. You push yourself upright, feeling the stiffness in your back, the deep ache in your shoulders and legs that never truly fades. The air is still cool, hinting at the scorching heat to come, and carries the faint, acrid scent of old cooking fires mixed with the earthy smell of the Nile's mud. Around you, shadows begin to stir. Other laborers, equally begrudging, push themselves up, a collective sigh escaping 100 throats. There's no time for stretching, no luxury of a slow awakening. Another shrill whistle cuts through the air, closer now, urging faster movement, brooking no delay. You pull on your single linen tunic, already worn thin, its rough fabric familiar against your skin. Your bare feet meet the cool, packed earth outside your home, then quickly navigate the narrow, uneven path that leads to the assembly point. The ground beneath you holds the chill of the night, but you know that soon, it will be burning hot, a constant, unpleasant reminder of the day's demands. Ahead, a long line of figures, still indistinct in the growing gloom, is already forming. This is the corvée, the daily toll, paid in sweat and muscle. The overseers, their presence heavy even before you see them clearly, move like dark, purposeful specters. The snap of a whip in the distance, a sound that doesn't connect to your skin but resonates deep within your bones, quickens your steps. Your heart pounds a dull rhythm against your ribs, anticipating the relentless pace that is about to begin. As the sky to the east starts to bleed a cruel orange light, painting the horizon with false hope, you fall into line, one among many, your shoulders instinctively hunching, preparing for the invisible weight of the day's work. You can feel the collective shift, the forward momentum of dozens of bodies moving as one, marching shoulders bearing down towards the fields or the distant construction site. There is no talk, only the shuffling of feet, the occasional grunt, and the ceaseless, watchful eyes of the overseers. This isn't work that allows for a day off, for a moment of quiet reflection, or even a brief pause. From this first, jarring whistle of dawn until the merciful descent of dusk, your body is a tool, a resource to be expended. It is a tireless, unyielding rhythm, a constant push against fatigue, where the concept of rest is a distant, almost forgotten dream. The air hits you first, thick and sweet with the cloying scent of frankincense and myrrh, mingling with the dry dust of the earth. It wraps around you, almost a physical presence, as the low, guttural murmur of a chant vibrates through the very ground beneath your bare feet. You stand at the edge of the temple precinct, one among a quiet throng, craning your neck to glimpse the distant, towering pylons that seem to scrape the blazing blue sky. The intense sun, as always, beats down, making your linen tunic cling uncomfortably to your back, but here, in the shadow of these sacred walls, a different kind of heat presses in, the weight of something ancient and powerful. Your eyes, squinting against the glare, try to follow the faint wisps of smoke curling upwards from hidden altars, carrying prayers and offerings to the distant, inscrutable gods. This isn't your daily world of sweat and dirt, but a place where the divine order, Ma'ah, is meticulously upheld. You shift, feeling the familiar grit of sand between your toes, a stark contrast to the smooth, polished stone you imagine lies within the inner sanctums, reserved only for priests and Pharaoh. Here, at the periphery, you are merely an observer, a small, insignificant part of the grand cosmic design. Yet, even your small life is governed by Ma'ah. You know, deep in your bones, that if the gods are displeased, if the balance is upset, the Nile might not rise, the harvest might fail, and the very structure of your existence would crumble. A shiver, not from cold, traces down your spine. The rhythmic chanting swells slightly, then recedes, a hypnotic wave that seems to penetrate your thoughts, reminding you of the proper ways, the necessary offerings, the unceasing vigilance against chaos. You clench your fists briefly, the calluses on your palms a testament to your own small contribution to the world, a world held together by these very rituals. The dust that coats your lips tastes dry and metallic, but the scent of incense promises something else, a bridge to realms beyond your comprehension. You stand there for a long moment, your gaze fixed on the imposing, sun-baked walls, feeling both awed and intensely small. This temple, this smoke, these chants, they are the very scaffolding of your universe. They hold the order, they demand reverence, and they place an unseen, yet very real, pressure on every single action you take, every thought you have, from dawn till dusk. Your life, your labor, your very breath, is bound by this unseen pact, a quiet, profound obligation in a world where gods dictate far more than just the seasons. A breath of air, startlingly cool and clean, drifts from the temple's shadowed entrance, carrying a delicate, almost ethereal scent of exotic flowers and spiced oils. It's a world away from the dust and sweat that clings to your own skin. You catch a fleeting glimpse through a grand, carved doorway, a portal into another existence, as a figure in crisp, bleached linen glides across polished stone. Your bare foot shifts on the coarse, sun-warmed earth, feeling the grit and small, sharp pebbles that are your constant companions. But inside, you imagine the smooth, cool touch of marble, a surface untouched by the baking sun, unmarred by the wear of countless working feet. The faint, hushed whisper of sandals on stone replaces the clamor of the market or the rhythmic grunts of labor. It's a sound that speaks of ease, of deliberation, a quietness you rarely experience. You watch as a priest, his head meticulously shaved, his fine linen robe falling in pristine folds, raises a hand. There's no strain in his movement, no trace of fatigue in his serene face. His eyes, lined with protective kohl, hold a calm intensity that suggests a life devoted to knowledge and ritual, not to hauling water or tilling stubborn soil. He embodies a cleanliness that feels almost sacred, a privilege of purity you can only dream of. The air around him seems to shimmer, not with heat, but with a palpable aura of untouched distinction. No flies bother him, no biting insects cling to his garments. His world within those cool corridors is carefully shielded, perfumed, and utterly separate from the harsh realities you navigate with every dawn. You feel the rough weave of your own single tunic, already showing the dirt of the day, a stark contrast to the impeccable whiteness that seems to radiate from him. There's a subtle but profound gap between your sun-baked, aching body and his composed, elevated presence. You turn your gaze back to the sun-drenched street, the dust devils dancing in the distance, the familiar shouts of vendors, the heat that presses down like a physical weight. The cool, quiet world of the priests, their soft linens and perfumed air, feels like a mirage, a fleeting vision of an existence so radically different from your own that it might as well be on another star. Their untouchable privilege, born of faith and position, casts long, quiet shadows over your own hard-won humanity, emphasizing the unbridgeable distance between lives lived in the sun and those sheltered within cool, sacred marble. The faint, almost imperceptible whisper of papyrus brushing against itself fills the quiet chamber, a sound as soft as rustling reeds by the Nile. The air here, in this cool, sheltered space, carries the distinct, earthy tang of ink, a mix of soot and gum arabic, mingling with the dry, grassy scent of the rolled scrolls stacked neatly beside you. You lean forward slightly, your gaze fixed on the sheet before you, a world away from the blazing sun and clamoring streets outside. Your fingers, slender and nimble, are stained a deep, permanent black and red, silent testimonies to endless hours spent in precise, delicate work. You dip your finely pointed reed pen into the small, cool clay pot of black ink, feeling the smooth, satisfying resistance as the tip absorbs the liquid. Then, with an almost imperceptible breath, you bring it down onto the fibrous surface of the papyrus. Scratch, scratch, scratch goes the pen, a tiny, crisp sound that is the rhythm of your day, a melody of focused creation. Each hieroglyph, each elegant sweep of hieratic script, flows from your hand with a practiced grace, an effortless dance of symbol and meaning. You don't just write, you carve thoughts onto eternity, record decrees, measure harvests, or chart the stars. The power isn't in brute strength, but in the quiet precision of your mind and the steady hand that guides the pen. Here, intellect is your tool, literacy your shield, and the ability to capture words your silent weapon. You adjust your seated position on the low stool, your back straight, unburdened by heavy lifting or long hours under a scorching sun. The light filtering in from a small, high window is soft, diffused. A gentle illumination that protects your eyes, not burns them. No flies bother you in this sanctum, no dust chokes your breath. The world of manual labor, of aching muscles and calloused hands, exists far beyond these thick mud brick walls, a distant, almost forgotten reality. As you finish a line, pulling the pen away with a soft flourish, you take a moment. You can feel the intricate patterns of the script, the weight of the words you've just brought into being. This quiet, careful act of inscribing feels like holding a piece of the future, shaping the past. Your ink-stained palm, unlike the rough, scarred hands of the fieldworker or stonecutter, is a map of a different kind of life, one steeped in the hush of secret knowledge. A privileged existence where words themselves hold the greatest, most enduring power. The rough twine digs into your small, still soft fingers, leaving faint red indentations as you try to replicate the complex series of knots. The dry, earthy smell of the mud brick room, barely cooled by a narrow slit in the wall, feels heavy in the air. You're perched on a low stool, your brow furrowed in concentration, your tongue pressed between your teeth. This isn't the elegant scroll of a scribe, but a practical tool, a way to count the sacks of grain or the days of the inundation. Each twist and loop of the fiber represents a number, a quantity vital to your family's survival. A stern cough from the corner makes you flinch. Your elder, a figure of unwavering authority, watches with an intensity that makes your stomach clench. You run your finger over a knot again, tracing its shape, trying to imprint its meaning not just in your mind, but in the muscle memory of your hand. You mount the numbers silently, a quiet hum in your throat, repeating them over and over, hoping to banish any possibility of error. A wrong count, a missed calculation, could mean less food, less security, a sliver of desperation added to an already precarious life. Later, as the sun beats down relentlessly outside, a different kind of lesson begins. Your voice, still small, joins a chorus of other children, reciting ancient hymns. The words are complex, stories of gods and pharaohs, of Ma'ah and cosmic order. They tumble from your lips, memorized through sheer repetition, a rhythmic chant that fills the humble space. You understand only fragments, but the importance of each phrase, each syllable, is clear. These aren't just stories, they're the fabric of your world, the proper way to speak to the divine. Your gaze flicks to your elder again, whose eyes, dark and knowing, miss nothing. You feel the unspoken expectation, the heavy weight of centuries of tradition. To misremember, to stumble over a sacred name, feels like a betrayal, a disturbance of the delicate balance that keeps the Nile flowing and the sun rising. There's no easy forgiveness for such errors. Failure here isn't a mere reprimand. It's a failure against the order of things, a threat to your small place in a rigidly defined universe. This relentless drumbeat of practical numbers and hallowed words, the constant fear of not knowing enough, of not being enough, is your childhood. It is a daily, deeply ingrained dread of failure that shapes your every breath and movement, binding you tightly to a path with very little room to stray. A searing heat radiates from deep within you, making your skin feel impossibly dry, yet clammy with sweat. Your head pounds with a dull, insistent throb, each beat echoing the rapid thump of your heart. You open your mouth, and a metallic, bitter taste coats your tongue, a grim flavor that mirrors the rising panic in your chest. Your throat feels raw, scratchy, and swallowing is a painful effort. You lie on your simple reed mat on the dirt floor, every movement a monumental task. The familiar drone of flies, usually ignored, now seems to amplify the swirling discomfort in your skull. They land on your arm, on your face, an irritating, inescapable presence you lack the energy to swat away. The air, usually just warm, now feels suffocating, a heavy blanket pressing down on your fever-racked body. You shiver despite the heat, a deep, bone-chilling chill that makes your muscles seize. No trained physician, no healer with specialized tools, arrives at your cramped mud brick home. Your family, their faces etched with worry, do what they know. A rough, damp cloth, smelling faintly of a pounded, unfamiliar herb, is pressed to your burning forehead, offering only fleeting, illusory relief. You taste another concoction, a bitter, earthy liquid that scrapes against your inflamed throat, meant to ward off evil spirits or draw out the sickness, but it only makes your stomach clench further. You feel the grit of the ground through the thin mat, the rough texture of your single linen garment, now clinging uncomfortably to your feverish skin. Each breath feels shallow, each moment an endurance test. The familiar sounds of daily life outside, distant shouts, the lowing of livestock, the chatter of neighbors, seem muted, alien, as if you've been cut off from the world. There's a stark, terrifying clarity in this isolation. No one is coming with a cure. No magic potion will instantly banish this torment. This is a battle you fight largely alone, armed only with ancient wisdom and desperate hope. The bitter taste in your mouth persists, an unyielding reminder of your vulnerability. It is the taste of fear, raw and undeniable, mingling with the strange, potent herbs. In this world, illness isn't just an inconvenience, it's a constant, hovering shadow. A grim lottery where your very survival is a roll of the dice. You cling to the rough texture of the mat, feeling the relentless rhythm of your struggling body, acutely aware of how quickly a day, or a life, can be consumed by the unforgiving grip of sickness. A dry, pungent tang of resin and dried natron dust fills your lungs, mixing with the fainter, earthy scent of ancient herbs. It's a smell unlike any other, thick and solemn, clinging to the cool, still air of the workshop. You stand at the edge of a large, stone slab, feeling the stark contrast between the vibrant heat of the world outside and the hushed, almost reverent chill within these walls. Your gaze falls upon the silent form resting there, utterly still, a profound quietness radiating from it. You watch, mesmerized, as an embalmer, his movements practiced and deliberate, carefully unrolls a fresh length of linen. The fabric rustles softly, a whisper in the otherwise profound silence, a stark white against the pale, prepared skin. His hands, precise and unhurried, begin the intricate dance of wrapping, layer upon layer, transforming the once living body into an immutable form. You notice the sheen of oil on his fingers, the remnants of the fragrant resins that will protect and preserve. The air here seems to hum with purpose, a focused energy dedicated to defying the natural decay of time. Each strip of linen is laid with an exactness that speaks of deep spiritual belief, not merely a physical act, but a ritual, a prayer woven into every fiber. You can almost feel the weight of expectation, the immense significance placed on this careful preparation for the journey to the duat, the underworld. The soul, you know, cannot find peace if its earthly vessel is not properly tended. Your own hands, perhaps still raw from daily labor, feel clumsy and insignificant compared to the embalmer's skilled touch. There's no room for error here, no rough shortcuts. This is meticulous work, demanding patience, knowledge, and a profound respect for the transition from this life to the next. The scraping sound of a small tool against a stone jar, perhaps holding precious oils or spices, momentarily breaks the silence, a soft echo in the solemn space. You stand there, a living observer of death's meticulous preparations, feeling the profound stillness, the careful reverence for a life now ended. This process, so vital, so consuming in its detail, reveals a core truth of this ancient world. Even in death, there is no escape from the relentless demands of ritual, no simple farewell. This final, elaborate effort to bridge two worlds, the visible and the unseen, emphasizes the precious, fleeting nature of the days you do have, and the constant, awe-inspiring human drive to endure, even beyond the grave. The rough, slightly damp linen of your kilt clings to your lower back, a familiar rasp against skin that feels perpetually sun-baked. A persistent itch, a phantom sensation born of the day's heat and the ever-present dust, makes you shift your weight, a small, unconscious movement. Above your waist, your shoulders and arms are bare, taut under the relentless glare, already bearing the telltale reddish flush of the sun's unyielding embrace. You lift a hand, the calloused palm already darkened by the sun, to wipe a bead of sweat from your brow. The air, thick and heavy, offers little respite, merely pushing the simple, white fabric of your single garment tighter against you. It's not a shirt in the way you might imagine. It's a minimal drape, a practical concession to modesty and the barest protection from the most direct rays. You feel the fibers of the flax, woven coarsely, yet breathable, designed to prevent you from collapsing entirely under the inferno of the Egyptian sky. A tiny, buzzing annoyance whirs past your ear. Your arm flicks out, a quick, practiced gesture, chasing away the fly before it can land on the damp skin of your neck. The linen, your only significant barrier, feels almost inadequate against the swarm of invisible threats. The biting insects that seem to find every exposed patch of skin, the sharp grit carried on the breeze, the sheer, burning power of the sun itself. Yet, it's what you have. It's all you have. As you bend to your task, the fabric pulls, stretching across your back, momentarily offering a slightly cooler breath of air against your skin before settling back into place. You adjust it again, a constant, almost ritualistic interaction with your clothing. There's a strange comfort in its familiarity, in the way it moves with you. A second skin that has seen as many sunrises and sunsets as you have. It's a testament to survival, a humble declaration of your place in this world. The fine dust of the day settles on the white linen, changing its crispness, embedding itself into the weave. This single piece of clothing, worn from dawn until dusk, day after day, becomes a part of you. It's a constant, tangible reminder of the unrelenting elements you endure, a threadbare banner of your resilience. This modest garment, offering what little comfort it can, is both a shield and a testament to the daily, deeply personal battle you fight against the very sun and sand that define your existence. The cool, sharp edge of the bronze razor scrapes against your scalp, a clean, swift sweep that leaves your head smooth and bare. You feel the slight drag, then the liberating smoothness, a stark contrast to the rough texture of the sun-baked mud bricks that make up your home. The sensation is immediate, a small victory against the relentless heat and the ever-present threat of tiny, unseen invaders. No tangled mess of hair to trap the dust, no hiding place for lice in this sweltering land. It's a practical, almost ritualistic, daily act of defiance against the harsh environment. You take the smooth stone palette, feeling the familiar weight in your hand, and carefully grind the dark coal pigment with a few drops of water, perhaps a hint of oil. The fine dust rises, smelling faintly of minerals and something ancient, something protective. With a slender, wooden applicator, you carefully draw a thick, dark line, starting from the inner corner, extending out towards your temples. It feels cool as it touches your skin, a slight, almost imperceptible tingle. This isn't just about looking good, though the defined lines do sharpen your gaze, making your eyes seem deeper, more intense. This kohl is armor. It's a barrier against the searing glare of the Egyptian sun, a dense shield that deflects the brutal light reflecting off the sand and the Nile. It's also a deterrent, a subtle protection for your eyes against the constant irritation of flies and the countless airborne particles that float in the dry air. You blink, and the world seems clearer, less assaulting to your vision, a small moment of respite. Later, perhaps for a rare celebration or a temple ritual, you might reach for a wig. The intricately braided, often dark hair, carefully styled, feels surprisingly weighty as you settle it onto your shaven scalp. It's a temporary transformation, a different kind of shield, offering a sense of dignity and occasion. You adjust it, feeling the texture of the woven fibers, a stark contrast to the smooth skin underneath. This is a deliberate choice, a fleeting moment of sculpted elegance, a world away from the daily battle for basic cleanliness and comfort. But for most days, you return to the stark reality: the cool, shaven head, the dark-lined eyes. It's a silent, daily negotiation with your environment. This constant, intimate interaction with your body, shaving away what grows, painting on what protects, underscores a profound truth. In this land, even your appearance, down to the very skin of your head and the lines around your eyes, is a testament to resilience, a blend of essential hygiene and the ancient, enduring human need to adapt and survive. An acrid sting hits the back of your throat, a familiar harshness that makes your eyes water almost instantly. You blink rapidly, trying to clear the haze, but the thick, gray smoke from the open fire curls and dances, seeking out every corner of your small, mud-brick kitchen. It clings to the air, to the rough fabric of your tunic, and to the very walls around you, leaving behind a fine, black film. You squat low, tending to the embers, carefully positioning a clay pot over the dancing flames. The heat from the fire warms your face, a stark contrast to the already stifling air of the small space. Your fingers, calloused from countless tasks, brush against the coarse grindstone, still warm from earlier use. The scent of grain dust, dry and pervasive, mixes with the wood smoke, a constant, irritating presence that seems to coat the inside of your nostrils. Each breath you take carries with it these tiny particles, a gritty reminder of every meal ever prepared in this room. You reach for a flat, round loaf of bread, still warm from the oven outside, its crust darkened by the intense heat. As you break it apart, a small cloud of flour dust puffs into the air, joining the perpetual haze. Your hands are perpetually stained, not just from the earth you work in during the day, but from the soot that settles on every surface, the fine film of black that adheres to your skin, no matter how many times you rinse them with water from the amphora. The air inside this cramped space feels heavy, laden with the smells of your existence, fermenting beer, cooking onions, and always the smoke. Your eyes, accustomed to the burning, often feel gritty, a constant irritation from the constant exposure. You cough, a dry, rattling sound that feels deep in your chest, a common accompaniment to the evening meal. This isn't a fleeting discomfort, it's an intrinsic part of daily life, the price you pay for warmth and cooked food. As you stir the simple stew, the wooden spoon scraping against the rough clay, you watch the smoke drift upwards, reluctant to escape through the small vent near the ceiling. It's a reminder that even in the most fundamental act of nourishment, your body is continuously challenged, absorbing the very elements of your home. This omnipresent soot, the fine-grained dust, the perpetual smoke, they aren't just in your kitchen. They are in your lungs, on your skin, an inescapable part of the taste of every meal, and the very air you breathe, a testament to the raw, unrefined reality of merely surviving. A rich, yeasty, almost sweet-sour scent hangs heavy in the air, thick enough to taste. It emanates from the large, clay pots simmering gently by the edge of your small, open fire, a deep, comforting warmth radiating outwards. You lean closer, feeling the subtle heat on your face, the soft, rhythmic bubbling within the vessels, a quiet promise of relief to come. This is brewing day, a recurring rhythm in the life of your family, essential and enduring. Your hands, calloused and familiar with the work, reach for a heavy, carved wooden paddle. You stir the thick, grainy mash, feeling the resistance against the paddle, the dense mixture of crushed barley and water swirling slowly. Tiny bits of husks and fermenting dough cling to the sides of the pot, an earthy testament to the raw ingredients. The process is slow, requiring patience as the warmth works its magic, transforming simple grains into sustenance. The smell of the fermenting mixture is ever present, a constant companion that penetrates your clothes, your hair, even the very mud bricks of your home. You pour a measure of the cloudy, opaque liquid into a smaller, rough clay cup, feeling its substantial weight. It's not clear like water, but thick, almost chewy, a liquid bread that nourishes as it quenches. The rim of the cup is cool against your lips, then the beverage itself, lukewarm and surprisingly potent. You taste the earth, the sweetness of the malt, a hint of something sour that speaks of its fermentation. It's a taste that is both familiar and deeply satisfying, a brief moment of pleasure in a day often defined by toil. Around you, others also raise their cups, their faces softening with each shared sip. The low murmur of conversation, usually about the day's backbreaking work or the unpredictable Nile, seems to lighten, becoming a little less burdened. The thick beer provides not just calories, but a fleeting sense of ease, a softening of the edges of your harsh reality. It warms your belly, bringing a dull comfort that spreads through your tired limbs. You feel the simple, unadorned pleasure of that shared cup, a momentary escape from the relentless demands of survival. This common drink, born of a constant process, is a small, vital thread of joy woven into the fabric of your daily existence. It's a testament to the fact that even amidst such profound hardships, humanity finds its enduring resilience not just in labor, but in the shared, simple comfort of a taste, a smell, a moment of respite that helps you face another grueling day. A heavy, cloying scent, a mix of damp earth, dried refuse, and something vaguely sweet yet sickly, clings to the air, making each breath a conscious effort. It's the smell of crowded living, of too many bodies, too much life packed into too little space. A constant, irritating buzz surrounds you, the endless symphony of flies, their tiny bodies landing on your skin, on the rim of your water jar, on the drying fish hanging near a neighbor's doorway. Your hand sweeps them away almost without thought, a perpetual, losing battle against their relentless presence. You move through the narrow alley, your bare feet silently padding on the uneven, sun-baked earth. The mud brick walls of the homes loom close on either side, offering little breeze, trapping the stale air. A darting shadow catches your eye, a quick scuttling sound from beneath a pile of discarded reeds. Rats. You've seen them too often, sleek and swift, emerging from cracks in the walls or from under the straw mats that serve as meager shelter. Their presence is a familiar, unsettling undertone to daily life, a constant reminder of things unseen but always close. A hush has settled over the usual clamor of the marketplace, a quietness that feels heavier than the midday heat. Neighbors exchange wary glances, their usual boisterous chatter subdued, their laughter conspicuously absent. The children, typically chasing each other with shouts and playful shoves, now move with a quiet caution, their games paused. There's a new kind of tension hanging in the air, a silent question in every interaction, a shared, unspoken fear of the invisible. You feel the slight grit under your tongue, the ever-present dust mingling with the vague unease. Your throat feels a little raw, perhaps from the dust, perhaps from something more. You know there are no quick cures, no powerful tonics against what might come. Only vigilance, rigorous washing at the river's edge, and the fragile hope that the gods will look favorably upon your household. The knowledge that a small ache, a lingering cough, could swiftly transform into something fatal weighs heavily, a constant, low thrum beneath the surface of your daily struggle. This constant, gnawing awareness of unseen threats, of pestilence that can strike without warning and leave you utterly helpless, underscores the brutal fragility of life here. Every buzz, every scuttling shadow, holds the potential for ruin, demanding a silent, weary resilience that never truly rests. It's a world where mere survival isn't just about food and labor. It's about navigating an invisible battlefield, every single day. The cold water, a shock against your skin, brings an immediate gasp, a sharp intake of breath in the stifling heat. You splash it over your arms, feeling the fine dust and sweat begin to loosen, washing away the tangible evidence of the day's relentless labor. The rough clay jug feels heavy in your hands as you pour, its coolness a fleeting comfort. This isn't a bathhouse with warm, scented waters. It's a simple basin, or perhaps the river's edge, where the current is brisk and unforgiving. You reach for a small pouch, extracting a handful of gritty, ash-like paste, perhaps mixed with scented oils if you are fortunate. You rub it vigorously over your skin, feeling the coarse texture against your flesh, working it into a sparse lather that barely covers your sun-beaten limbs. The scent is earthy, medicinal, a far cry from any floral perfume, but it promises a temporary cleansing, a moment of reprieve from the ever-present grime. You scrub away the dried mud, the lingering scent of smoke from the kitchen, the subtle stickiness of sweat that seems to cling to every pore. As the paste rinses off, carried away by another douse of cold water, you feel a fleeting sense of lightness, a brief moment of fragile purity. Your skin tingles, refreshed, but you know this feeling is transient. Already, as the water evaporates from your body, the desert air begins its work. Tiny particles of sand, carried on the faintest breeze, land on your still damp skin, ready to settle. The sun, a persistent painter, re-etches its mark, and the memory of the clean water begins to fade, replaced by the encroaching reality of dust and heat. This daily ritual, this striving for cleanliness, is more than just comfort. It's an act of respect, a gesture towards Ma'a, the cosmic order. To be clean is to be prepared, to honor the gods, to navigate a world where unseen forces can bring illness as swiftly as a scorpion's sting. You towel yourself dry with a coarse linen cloth, feeling the scratchy fabric, already smelling faintly of dust despite your efforts. You dress in your simple linen kilt, feeling it settle against newly cleansed, yet already threatened, skin. The brief respite from the day's accumulations is over, but the small act of purification renews a sense of order, a fragile defiance against a world determined to coat you in its grit and grime. This persistent effort, this daily scrubbing against the inevitable, is a quiet testament to your enduring humanity, seeking a moment of peace, a fleeting sense of clean amidst the overwhelming, relentless forces of your environment. The dry, sweet smell of stored barley fills your nostrils, a comforting aroma usually, but today it's laced with a sharp edge of anxiety. You stand hunched in your small, mud-brick granary, your heart thumping a heavy rhythm against your ribs. Outside, the approaching footsteps of the tax gatherers crunch on the dusty ground, each sound a tightening knot in your stomach. This is the moment of reckoning, when the fruits of your relentless labor are weighed, counted, and taken. You hear their voices, stern and official, as they pass by neighboring homes, the low murmur of conversation punctuated by sharp commands. Your own hands, rough and permanently ingrained with the earth from years of toil, clench and unclench at your sides. Every grain in this granary represents sweat, sun, and sleepless nights spent coaxing life from the Nile's fertile banks. Every grain is a mouthful for your family, a day of survival. The doorway darkens as they enter, casting long, imposing shadows across your meager store. A scribe, with his sharp eyes and tablet, nods curtly. The heavy wooden door creaks as it's propped open, letting in a shaft of unforgiving sunlight that illuminates the swirling dust and the golden heap of grain. Your breath catches, a dry cough rising in your throat as the fine particles tickle. You begin the arduous task, scooping the precious kernels into their measuring baskets, your movements practiced but heavy with apprehension. The grain spills over your fingers, a constant, gritty friction that further chafes your already scuffed palms. Each scoop is a small sacrifice, a portion of your future disappearing into the state's coffers. You feel the constant ache in your back, the strain in your arms, a testament to the effort that went into growing this very harvest. Their eyes, cold and calculating, follow every scoop, every leveling of the basket. You try to keep your face impassive, to betray none of the gnawing fear that twists inside you. Will there be enough left? Enough for the bread, for the beer, for the mouths that depend solely on your efforts? The numbers scratch onto the scribe's tablet, an abstract record of your diminishing stores. The air feels heavy, thick with the smell of grain and the silent, unspoken tension of your precarious existence. As they finally turn to leave, their sandals scuffing away from your doorway, a profound weariness settles over you. The granary feels lighter, emptier, echoing with the fear of want. This constant handing over, this regular depletion, serves as a stark reminder of your place in the world, perpetually working, perpetually vulnerable, with only your resilience as your fragile shield against the ever-present threat of hunger. The sheer scale of the stone makes your neck ache as you crane your head, staring up at the colossal statue that dominates the temple entrance. Its carved eyes, unblinking and ancient, seem to gaze not at you, but through you, past you, towards horizons you will never see. You feel a familiar, tiny tremor, a profound sense of your own insignificance beneath such an immense, silent presence. It is the Pharaoh, larger than life, larger than all of you, an eternal guardian watching over his realm. You stand among a quiet throng, your bare feet pressed against the warm, packed earth. The air smells of dry dust and a faint, sweet hint of incense drifting from within the temple walls. You hear the hushed whispers of reverence around you, a collective awe that resonates with your own deep-seated understanding. His rule, his divine right, is an undeniable truth etched not only in stone but into the very fabric of your days. You carry this weight, invisible but ever-present, in every stride, every swing of your tool. A robed official, Perhaps a priest or a high-ranking scribe sweeps past you, his sandals making a soft slap-slap sound on the stone path, a stark contrast to your own silent padding. You instinctively lower your gaze, a gesture of respect and deference, knowing your place in this intricately woven tapestry of society. His fine linen, clean and flowing, brushes past, a fleeting scent of expensive oils, a stark reminder of the chasm between his world and yours. Your own simple kilt, worn smooth by countless washes and endless work, feels rough and inadequate by comparison. Later, you might hear a decree read aloud in the public square, the words of the Pharaoh, delivered through the booming voice of a messenger. These words, whether about taxes, conscription, or a new festival, hold an absolute power, shaping your immediate future, demanding your unquestioning compliance. You listen, absorbing the pronouncements, knowing that your life will bend to these dictates, just as the Nile bends to its banks. There is no appeal, no alternative. This constant awareness, this invisible weight of rank and absolute authority, shapes your every move. It's in the way you labor under the blazing sun, knowing your efforts contribute to monuments you will never truly own. It's in the simple food you eat, provided by land that isn't yours. You are a small, vital cog in a colossal machine, always beneath the Pharaoh's unwavering, stone gaze. This understanding, this ingrained acceptance of your place, defines not just your actions, but the very quiet pulse of your spirit, day after grueling day. The cool, squishy mud oozes between your fingers, a delightful, earthy sensation as you press and mold it into a miniature boat. The Nile, a vast, shimmering ribbon, stretches out before you, its constant murmur a familiar lullaby. Around you, other children, their bodies lean and brown from endless sun, laugh and splash, their bare feet kicking up plumes of water and fine, dark silt. The scent of river water, rich with life and damp earth, fills the air, mingling with the dry heat of the Egyptian sun. You carefully smooth the sides of your tiny vessel, imagining it carrying important cargo, perhaps a catch of fish or a basket of fresh papyrus. This isn't just play, it's a silent mimicry of the life unfolding around you, a small, unconscious rehearsal for the future. You push your mud boat into the shallows, watching it bob, feeling a brief swell of triumph as it floats, however imperfectly. The current tugs at it, a gentle reminder of the river's power, a lesson you are learning even in your games. A sudden, playful splash from a friend drenches your face, the cold water startling but refreshing. You giggle, wiping the drops from your eyes, before launching into a spirited chase through the ankle-deep water. Your muscles, surprisingly strong for your small frame, propel you forward, your bare feet finding purchase on the slick riverbed. This is where you learn balance, agility, the subtle shifts of the water, the way the current can pull and push. It's a dance of survival, masked as a game, preparing you for the deeper, more dangerous waters of your adult life. You might see older children, almost teenagers, practicing with makeshift fishing nets or carefully setting out small traps, their movements already imbued with the serious focus of providing for their families. You watch, observing, absorbing the rhythms and techniques, the subtle lessons of patience and precision. Even your rough and tumble games, the mock wrestling and foot races, build strength and endurance, vital qualities for the relentless labor that awaits you. The sun begins its slow descent, painting the sky in fiery hues, and a weariness settles deep in your bones. The laughter gradually fades, replaced by the quiet sounds of children gathering their things, their small, sun-kissed faces already taking on a more serious cast. Even in these moments of carefree abandon, the shadow of necessity lengthens. This simple river play, this childhood joy, is deeply intertwined with the lessons of survival, subtly preparing you for a life of hard work, resilience, and an unwavering reliance on the great Nile. The rhythmic thump of distant drums pulses through the twilight air, a vibrant current pulling you along with the excited throng. You feel the collective energy of the village, a tangible hum vibrating through the soles of your bare feet, up through your legs, settling in your chest. The usual quiet of the evening has shattered, replaced by a joyous din of laughter, shouts, and the insistent call of musicians. Tonight is a festival night, a precious, fleeting escape. You jostled gently through the crowd, your hand instinctively reaching out to steady a child who nearly stumbles, their eyes wide with wonder. The air is thick with the sweet, smoky scent of roasting meat, a rare and tantalizing aroma that makes your mouth water. Intermingled with it is the fresh, cool smell of the Nile, now lit by flickering torches and the soft glow of the rising moon. Everyone is here, shedding the weariness of the fields and workshops, their faces illuminated by a shared, palpable joy. Out on the shimmering expanse of the river, the true spectacle unfolds. Two long, slender boats, each propelled by swift rowers, surge towards each other. At the prow of each stands a man, balanced with breathtaking agility, a long pole held ready. A roar rises from the banks as they collide, not with the boats, but with their opponents. One man lurches, his pole sweeping, the other twisting to avoid the blow. Then, with a mighty splash, one tumbles into the dark, cool water, sending up a glittering spray that catches the torchlight. The crowd erupts in cheers, a wave of collective excitement washing over you. You watch another round, your body tensing with each near miss, each powerful lunge. It's a dance of strength and precision, a playful reenactment of ancient rivalries, a release for all that unspoken tension that builds in the long days. A draught of cool, dark beer, slightly sweet and grainy, slides down your throat, a taste of luxury, of something beyond the daily bread and onions. It washes away a little more of the day's fatigue, loosening the knots in your shoulders. For this brief, loud night, the invisible weight of endless labor, the gnawing anxiety of the granary, the oppressive rigidity of your place, simply lifts. You are simply one voice in a chorus of joyous shouts, one body moving in a sea of shared celebration. This momentary freedom, this taste of pure, unadulterated pleasure, is more than just entertainment. It's a profound reset, a vibrant pulse of humanity that reminds you what it feels like to truly live, a fleeting, precious gift that you will carry back into the demanding rhythms of your everyday existence, until the next festival calls. A low, dry hiss, barely audible above the quiet rustle of straw on the dirt floor, freezes you mid-step. Your heart gives a sudden, violent lurch against your ribs, sending a cold wave through your veins. The air in your small, mud-brick home, already thick with the scent of dried herbs and wood smoke, now feels heavy, charged with an unspoken dread. Your eyes dart, straining through the dim light, searching for the source of that chilling sound. Then you see it, coiled by the threshold, half hidden by a worn clay pot. A sleek, dark form uncoils slightly, its head lifting with an unnerving grace. Its scales glint dully in the meager light filtering from the doorway, and a thin, forked tongue flickers, tasting the air, tasting your presence. The silence that follows the hiss is deafening, punctuated only by the frantic beat of your own blood in your ears. Your bare feet, usually so accustomed to the feel of the earth, now feel rooted, unwilling to move, yet every instinct screams to retreat. You feel a prickle of cold sweat bloom on your brow, despite the heat. The small, cramped space of your home, usually a sanctuary from the blazing sun and endless labor, suddenly feels like a trap. Every shadow seems to lengthen. Every crack in the mud walls feels like an open invitation for unseen dangers. Slowly, carefully, your hand reaches for the nearest heavy object, perhaps a sturdy stick of firewood. Your fingers tremble as they close around the rough wood, your knuckles white. You feel the tremor run through your arm, but your gaze remains fixed on the unmoving, vigilant creature. One wrong move, one sudden sound, and a venomous strike could be swift and silent. There is no physician here, no quick remedies, only the chilling knowledge of what a cold fang can inflict. You brace yourself, muscles tensed, ready for action, yet praying for stillness. The air seems to crackle with tension, every breath a careful, shallow intake. The moment stretches, a precarious thread between safety and profound danger, right here in the heart of your domestic world. You survive this moment, forcing the creature away with a sharp, decisive action, and a wave of dizzying relief washes over you. But the memory of that dry hiss, the glint of those scales, will linger, a stark reminder of the fragile line between the everyday and the sudden, silent terrors that lurk just beyond your very threshold. The warm air hums with the drone of insects, but it's the unnerving silence of the Nile's surface that truly catches your attention. After a day spent laboring under the relentless sun, sweat stinging your eyes and dust clinging to every inch of your skin, the thought of its cool embrace is a persistent, powerful yearning. You walk carefully down the worn path to the riverbank, your bare feet sinking slightly into the warm, damp earth near the water's edge. The air here carries the rich, fecund smell of fertile mud and lush papyrus, a scent deeply ingrained in your very being, but today it feels tinged with a quiet tension. You scan the vast, shimmering expanse. The water, usually alive with the sounds of fishermen and waterfowl, seems strangely subdued now, its surface smooth and deceptively calm. Only a few small, lazy ripples disturb its mirror-like sheen, reflecting the fiery hues of the setting sun. But you know better than to trust this tranquility. You know what lies beneath, what ancient, silent hunters call these depths home. The stories are whispered in every village, tales of sudden disappearance, of screams cut short, of the swift, brutal snatch from the unsuspecting edge. You crave cleanliness, a washing away of the day's grime, a ritual that feels almost sacred in its necessity. Your simple linen kilt, heavy with the day's sweat, feels rough against your body. You step slowly into the shallow water, the cool embrace of blessed shock to your sun-baked skin. The current tugs gently at your ankles, a familiar sensation that usually brings comfort, but tonight it feels like an unseen hand, pulling at you. Your eyes dart constantly, sweeping the water's edge, searching for any telltale sign. The faintest glint, a ripple that doesn't belong, the subtle displacement of water that indicates something massive stirring just beneath the surface. Every shadow cast by the reeds seems to hold a potential danger, every distant splash from a bird making your heart leap. You quickly scoop water, splashing it over your arms, your shoulders, feeling the grit and dust wash away. The relief is immense, but it is fleeting, overshadowed by a heightened awareness of your vulnerability. You scrub your arms vigorously, your head turning, scanning, always scanning. The sound of a heavy plop from a clump of papyrus further downstream sends a jolt through you, a visceral fear tightening your chest. Was it a falling branch? A leaping fish? Or something far more ancient, far more deadly, slipping silently into the water, its leathery hide disguised among the mud and shadows. Your movements become quicker, more urgent. You step out of the water, not fully clean, but clean enough, your skin prickling, not just from the cool air, but from the lingering sense of unseen eyes. You gather your thoughts, hurrying away from the bank, the simple act of bathing transformed into a test of vigilance. The Nile, your life giver, is also a constant, silent menace. Even this most basic human need, the quest for cleanliness, comes with a heavy, toothy price in this formidable land, demanding not just your caution, but a constant awareness of your own fragile mortality. A cloud of fine, reddish-brown dust hangs heavy in the air, coating your tongue with a dry, earthy taste and settling into the very lines on your palms. The oppressive heat, a constant companion, radiates from the sun-baked mud walls of your workshop, but even more so from the low, smoldering maw of the kiln. You feel it pressing in, a thick, smothering blanket that makes every breath a conscious effort. Your lungs ache with the dryness, your skin prickles with perpetual sweat and the clinging grit. You sit hunched over your potter's wheel, a simple, heavy disc powered by the rhythmic push and pull of your foot. Your calf muscles protest with a familiar, dull ache, but the movement is so ingrained, so essential, that your body carries on without conscious command. Before you, a lump of cool, damp clay sits waiting. It's an earthy contrast to the searing air, a momentary relief for your calloused hands as you press down, centering the form with practiced precision. The wheel begins to spin, a blur of earthy brown, and your hands move with an ancient, fluid grace. Thumbs delve, fingers rise, coaxing the yielding material upwards. You feel the clay respond, a living thing shaping beneath your touch, rising from a simple mound into the elegant curve of a jar, the sturdy base of a bowl, the slender neck of a water vessel. Each piece takes shape, slowly, deliberately, a testament to countless hours of repetition, to a skill passed down through generations. Your brow is permanently furrowed in concentration, your eyes narrowed against the dust, but there is a quiet satisfaction in the creation. Once shaped, each piece must dry, sitting in rows, slowly hardening in the relentless sun. Then comes the fire. You labor to stack the kiln, carefully arranging the fragile, unfired vessels within its belly. The true test of your day, perhaps your life, begins as the fire is stoked, a roaring, hungry beast fed with precious fuel. The heat intensifies, radiating outwards, making the air shimmer and dance. You monitor it, your face flushed, sweat dripping freely, knowing that too much heat, or too little, can shatter hours of work, can mean the difference between food on the table and another day of gnawing hunger. You emerge from the workshop at dusk, covered in the marks of your toil. Fine clay dust clinging to your linen kilt, baked onto your arms, ingrained beneath your fingernails. The persistent ache in your back, the dryness in your throat, the slight ringing in your ears from the kiln's roar. These are the badges of a day survived. Every vessel you create, born of mud and fire, is a testament to the sheer, stubborn will to endure, to make something lasting out of the raw, unforgiving elements that define your existence. The fine, almost invisible dust of linen fibers tickles the back of your throat, a constant, dry companion in the shaded corner of the workroom. With each throw of the shuttle, a quiet, rhythmic thwack echoes, a sound as familiar and comforting as your own heartbeat. Your fingers, calloused and nimble, guide the thread through the warp, a blur of practiced motion. The air, despite the afternoon heat, feels relatively cooler here, a haven from the blazing sun, but it still carries the faint, earthy scent of raw flax, slowly transforming into something softer, more pliable. You sit before the upright loom, its wooden frame sturdy and worn smooth from countless hours of use, a silent partner in your daily labor. The tension of the threads, taut and even, vibrates subtly through your fingertips. Your gaze is fixed, unwavering, on the intricate pattern of the warp, ensuring each weft thread settles perfectly into place. This isn't just weaving, it's a meditation, a steady, deliberate act of creation that anchors you in the present, pushing away the worries of tomorrow's harvest or yesterday's meager meal. Your back aches with a familiar, dull throb, a constant reminder of the hours spent hunched over the frame. Your shoulders burn, your neck stiff from the unwavering focus. Yet, there's a quiet strength in your movements, a profound resilience born of necessity. You are not alone. Other women, young and old, sit at their own looms, their shuttles flying, their faces etched with similar concentrations. A subtle, unspoken camaraderie exists in this shared industry, a silent understanding of the effort required to turn raw fiber into the very cloth that protects your family from the sun and the chill of the desert nights. As the shuttle passes, the rough, unspun linen slowly transforms into a smooth, even fabric, its pale, natural hue a testament to its purity. You run a careful hand over the growing length of cloth, feeling the evenness of the weave, a small spark of pride igniting within you. This is essential work, painstaking and repetitive, yet it provides the very foundation of comfort, of status, of survival. From this loom will come the simple tunics, the cooling wraps, the very garments that signify your place in the world, however humble. The sun dips lower, painting the entrance with long, golden streaks, illuminating the dancing motes of linen dust in the air. The rhythm of the shuttles continues, a steady, persistent song of quiet industry. Your fingers continue their dance, tired yet unyielding, weaving not just thread, but the very fabric of existence. As the day's light fades, the satisfaction of the growing cloth, a physical manifestation of your quiet endurance, settles deep within your bones, a testament to the enduring human spirit that finds purpose and beauty even in the most demanding of lives. The first thing that hits you is the taste of it, a dry, gritty film of salt and sand coating your tongue, settling deep in your throat. It's in the air you breathe, carried by the hot, ceaseless wind that whips at your simple linen. The unmistakable, pungent scent of a dozen camels, thick and earthy, fills your nostrils, a constant companion as the caravan lurches forward. You are one small, moving part in this long, dusty serpent winding across the endless, shimmering expanse of the desert. The sun, a relentless eye in the vast blue, beats down on the top of your shaven head, searing through the thin cloth you use for protection. Your bare feet, toughened over years, still ache with each step, sinking into the burning sand, then pulling free with a soft, gritty sigh. You feel the grit between your toes, in the creases of your elbows, a pervasive reminder of the land you traverse. The only sound, apart from the wind, is the rhythmic thud 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 of the camel hooves, the creak of their laden saddles, and the occasional grumble from deep within their throats. It's a monotonous symphony of endurance. You glance back, seeing the familiar faces of your fellow traders, their eyes narrowed against the glare, their bodies swaying with the camel's gait or trudging alongside their beasts. Sweat, salty and warm, runs in rivulets down your temples, stinging your eyes, but there is no time to wipe it away. Your hand grips the lead rope, the rough fibers chafing your palm, a constant tether to your livelihood, to the precious goods carried on the beast's back, oils, spices, perhaps a rare stone from far-off lands. These aren't just commodities, They are the promise of bread, of beer, of another day of existence for your family. Hour after grueling hour, the landscape remains stubbornly the same, an unending tableau of ochre and gold, stretching to a horizon that seems to recede with every step. Mirages dance in the distance, teasing with false promises of water, of shade, of an end to this punishing journey. Your muscles scream with the effort, a deep, persistent ache that settles in your lower back, in your calves. Every sip of water from your flask is measured, a precious commodity, its lukewarm taste barely enough to quench the dryness that scrapes at your throat. This is the lifeblood of trade, this long, arduous trek under the merciless sky. It is a constant test of will, of stamina, of the human body pushed to its limits. But with each slow, deliberate step, you contribute to a network that links distant communities, enriching lives, including your own, however meagerly. You move forward, one dusty foot in front of the other, knowing that the long ache of trade is the very price of living, a profound testament to the resilience that breathes life into the heart of this ancient land. The cacophony hits you first, a dense wall of sound made up of 100 human voices, the bleating of tethered goats, the rustle of baskets, and the incessant buzzing of flies. It's a humid, living breath of humanity, thick with the scent of sun-baked dust, pungent spices, sweet dates, and the ever-present, earthy tang of the Nile. You push deeper into the market, your bare feet navigating the packed dirt path, dodging vendors spreading out their wares on woven mats and other buyers jostling for position. The relentless sun, even filtered through the awnings, creates shimmering heat haze, making the air heavy and close. Your grip tightens on the small clay pot in your hand, a meager offering of freshly baked bread tucked inside. You need oil for cooking, perhaps a few fresh onions to stretch your family's evening meal. There are no grand scrolls here, no written prices neatly displayed. Every exchange is a direct, visceral negotiation, a dance of gesture and keen observation. You watch the faces, trying to read intent in the flick of an eye, the tightness of a jaw, the subtle tilt of a head. Your own face is carefully blank, betraying neither eagerness nor desperation. You spot a merchant with a small, inviting pile of onions. He catches your eye, a slow nod inviting you closer. You hold out your bread, indicating its quality with a quick, confident gesture. His hand reaches out, pressing a thumb into a loaf, testing its freshness, his brow furrowed. He then points to a smaller, less plump onion in his own pile, his fingers sketching a meager quantity. Your head shakes, a firm, almost imperceptible movement. You extend 2 fingers, then 3, hinting at the value you believe your bread holds. He scoffs, a low, dismissive sound that makes your stomach clench. This is where reputation, memory, and the sharp edge of need intersect. Without written promises, a person's word, their known fairness, becomes currency. You cannot consult a price list, cannot sign a document. Your memory holds the going rates, the common barters, and the known tricks. Your quick mind calculates, weighing the warmth of the fresh bread against the family's hunger for the sharp bite of onion, the necessity of cooking oil. You point to a larger onion, then to the oil, your hand describing a slightly fuller measure in the merchant's clay jar. Your eyes meet his, a silent challenge passing between you. After a moment, he sighs, a theatrical show of concession, and points to the better onion, then to a slightly larger scoop of oil. It is a win, small but significant. You quickly complete the exchange, the smooth clay of the oil jar cool against your palm as you take it, offering your bread. You feel the satisfaction of a fair deal, forged through unspoken words, through the deep understanding of shared need and mutual respect in a world where trust is built one transaction at a time. The noise of the market presses in once more, but now it feels less overwhelming, less chaotic. You are a part of its rhythm, having navigated its intricate, unwritten rules for another day. The air in the small, cramped hut is thick with the metallic tang of fear and hot blood, mingled with the earthy scent of the mud walls and the faint, sweet smell of drying herbs. A single, sputtering oil lamp casts dancing shadows, making the familiar space feel both intimate and overwhelming. You kneel on the dirt floor, your knees aching, your linen garments already damp with sweat and effort. The only sound, apart from your own ragged breaths, is the low, guttural groans of the woman before you, her body racked with a primal, unrelenting pain. Your hands, calloused from years of toil and countless births, move with an instinctive wisdom, pressing, feeling, urging. You can feel the rhythm of her struggle, the rise and fall of each contraction, a powerful, ancient force that both creates and threatens. Her face is a mask of anguish, slick with sweat and tears, her eyes squeezed shut as she grips the hands of a nearby relative. You focus, your entire being narrowed to this single, critical task. There are no scrolls to consult here, no learned texts. Only the wisdom passed down from your mother, from her mother, a quiet knowledge etched into your very bones. The heat is stifling, made worse by the exertion. Flies, ever present, buzz lazily in the dim light, occasionally landing on your arm, but you barely notice. Your attention is riveted to the small, sacred space between life and the unknown. You feel the raw, slick warmth of her skin, the tremor of her body, the intensity of her contractions growing. With each surge, you murmur quiet encouragement, a low, steady chant designed to anchor her, and yourself, in this moment of profound transition. You are both on a knife's edge, balancing between hope and despair. Then, a shift. A final, desperate push. You lean in, your own muscles straining in sympathetic effort, your fingers ready, guiding. A rush of warm fluid, a gush of hot blood, and then, a small, slippery head emerges into the lamplight. You work quickly, carefully, clearing airways, turning, feeling for the tangle of a cord. The seconds stretch, taut with unspoken anxiety, until a tiny, outraged cry pierces the air. It is a sound more precious than gold, more potent than any spell. You lift the tiny, wriggling body, slippery and perfect, into the anxious silence. Hot tears sting your eyes, not of sorrow, but of profound relief. You quickly cut the cord with a clean reed, bind it, and then place the infant against its mother's chest. The woman, spent and trembling, opens her eyes, a fragile smile spreading across her tired face. Your work is far from over. The afterbirth, the cleaning, the careful examination of both mother and child. But the immediate, crushing weight of tension begins to lift. You wipe your blood-stained hands on a rough cloth, the exhaustion settling deep into your bones, a silent testament to another fragile life coaxed from the shadow of uncertainty into the harsh, demanding world. A cool, damp breath, smelling distinctly of stored grain and something vaguely metallic like stagnant earth, greets you as you step into the shadowed interior of the small mud brick granary. It's a welcome respite from the relentless blaze of the midday sun outside, but a shiver, unrelated to the temperature, traces its way down your spine. Your eyes adjust to the gloom, discerning the familiar stacks of earthenware jars and woven baskets filled with the golden bounty of the last harvest, the very heart of your family's survival. You run a hand along the rough, cool wall, feeling a subtle dampness that wasn't there a week ago. Your heart gives a little lurch. The Nile, in its annual, life-giving surge, has begun to recede, but its memory lingers in the softened earth, in the way the moisture seems to creep insidious upwards from the ground. You kneel, pushing aside a heavy ceramic lid, and plunge your arm into the depths of a large storage jar. Your fingers sift through the grains, feeling for any trace of stickiness, any clumping, any telltale sign of unwelcome guests. The dry rustle of the emmer wheat, normally a comforting sound, now holds a hint of dread. You pull out a handful, letting it cascade through your fingers, watching for discoloration. A faint, musty odor catches your attention, a scent that whispers of decay, of spoilage, of food that will not last the long, lean months ahead. You chew on a grain, its familiar sweetness now tinged with a bitterness that is more fear than flavor. This grain, meant to nourish, to sustain, to bridge the gap between this year's harvest and the next, suddenly feels terribly fragile. This isn't just food, it's tomorrow, it's the strength for the fields, the quiet warmth in your children's bellies. There are no other options, no unseen reserves, no one to turn to if the grain fails. Your life, your family's very existence, hinges on the health of these stores, on the kindness of the gods, on the precise timing of the Nile's generosity and the resilience of your small, earthen walls. Every spoiled handful is a bite taken from your future, a shortening of the already tight calendar of hunger that dictates your days. You carefully replace the lid, your movements slow, deliberate, as if by moving gently you can ward off the unseen forces of rot and scarcity. Your shoulders feel heavy, burdened by the unspoken weight of this silent, ever-present threat. The coolness of the granary, once a comfort, now feels like the cold touch of worry, a constant reminder of the fine line you walk between abundance and destitution. You emerge back into the sun, the light almost blinding, carrying not just the scent of grain, but the quiet, gnawing anxiety that is the price of survival in this beautiful, demanding land. A low, distant bark, sharp and sudden, tears through the heavy blanket of the night. Your breath catches, held tight in your chest, and your head snaps up from where it was beginning to droop. The sound, animal and primal, echoes for a moment, then fades back into the profound, inky silence that presses against the mud brick walls of your small home. Inside, the air is thick and still, carrying the faint scent of yesterday's cooking fire, now just a few embers glowing softly in the central hearth. You sit upright on your mat, your spine stiff, your muscles tight with a vigilance born of necessity. The small, sputtering oil lamp casts wavering shadows that twist the familiar corners of your hut into unsettling shapes. Your eyes, accustomed to the dimness, scan the dark patches where the light cannot reach. You listen, straining past the gentle, rhythmic breathing of your sleeping family curled nearby, a soft rustle from the corner, perhaps a mouse, or something larger, something less benign. The barking begins again, closer this time, joined by another, and then another, a ragged chorus of canine alarm from the distant edge of the village. The hair on your arms prickles. A cold dread, sharp and insistent, begins to thump against the inside of your ribs, a physical echo of the fear that can, at times, become your most constant companion in the darkness. You reach out a hand, fingers brushing against the cool, rough surface of the mud wall beside you, feeling its solidity, yet knowing how fragile it truly is against the unknown dangers of the night. Your mind races, picturing figures moving through the darkness, shadows slipping silently between houses, seeking weakness, opportunity. The grain you stored, the meager tools, the small, precious lives sleeping beside you, all vulnerable. There is no external guard, no patrol but the village dogs and the watchful eyes of its residents. Your safety, your family's very existence, rests on your own awareness, your quickness to react. It's a burden you carry every night, a silent, unspoken duty that steals true rest. You shift, pushing yourself closer to the low, wooden door, though you know it offers little real protection. Your hand instinctively finds the heavy, smooth stone you keep near for just such moments. The dull ache in your muscles from a day of endless toil is forgotten, replaced by a surge of adrenaline, sharpening your senses. Every rustle of dry reeds in the wind outside, every distant cry of a night bird, sends a ripple of unease through you. This isn't just a physical watch. It's a mental battle against the phantoms of fear, the chilling possibilities that lurk in the profound darkness. The world outside feels vast and untamed, and your small home, a fragile shell holding precious life, is dependent on the unbroken thread of your wakefulness. You remain, a silent sentinel, until the first faint blush of dawn promises to chase away the night's most terrifying shadows, bringing with it, if only for a few hours, the easing of this quiet, persistent dread. A sharp, sickening crack, like dry wood splitting, slices through the oppressive midday heat. It's followed by a collective gasp from the tightly packed crowd, a sound that feels sucked from your own lungs. The air, thick with dust and the sweat of 100 nervous bodies, suddenly feels heavier, pressing in. You stand shoulder to shoulder with strangers, your bare feet digging into the hot, loose earth of the village square, your gaze fixed, yet half averted, on the scene unfolding before you. The sun, a blazing eye in the vast blue sky, beats down relentlessly, making the rough linen of your tunic stick uncomfortably to your skin. Flies, disturbed by the sudden noise, buzz lazily around your face, but you barely notice their irritating dance. Your attention is wholly consumed by the figure at the center, their back bent over a block of wood, their hands splayed wide, vulnerable. The overseer, a stern, unyielding man with arms like rope, raises the reed rod again, the silence stretching taut, almost humming with anticipation. Another thwack, duller this time, but no less impactful. You feel a tremor run through the crowd, a subtle shift of weight, a collective flinch. Your own hands involuntarily clench at your sides, your palms tingling in a phantom pain. There is no cry from the punished, only a low, choked sound, barely audible over the rush of blood in your ears. You can almost feel the sting, the brutal force, the splitting of skin. This isn't just about pain, it's about order, about Ma'ah, the cosmic balance that demands adherence, or else. Your eyes trace the drops of darkening moisture on the dusty ground, each one a stark, chilling testament to the unforgiving nature of the law. You think of your own small transgressions, the hurried word, the unspoken resentment, and a cold wave of fear washes over you. There is no escape from this sight, no turning away without drawing unwanted attention. You are a witness, and by witnessing, you are reminded, ingrained with the brutal lesson. This public spectacle is designed not just for the recipient, but for every soul present, a constant, stark reminder of the fragile line between accepted behavior and swift, often brutal, correction. The rhythmic blows continue, a horrifying beat that echoes deep in your bones, until finally, the overseer lowers his arm. The silence that follows is deafening, heavy with the weight of raw pain and reinforced terror. The figure, slowly, painfully, pulls themselves upright, their hands a mangled, bleeding mess that will never truly heal. There will be no soothing salves from a physician, no days off to recover. Only the slow, arduous process of physical repair, and the indelible mark of the law's scourge. You turn to leave, your own palms still tingling. The echo of the verdict a harsh, ringing note in your mind. A potent reminder of the ever-present consequences that shape every breath in this demanding world. The rhythmic chink-chink of your bronze chisel against the raw limestone echoes softly in the cavernous space, a small, insistent beat against the vast silence. Fine, white dust, like powdered bone, coats your arms, settles in the creases of your linen kilt, and clings to the few strands of hair escaping your shaven head. You squint through the haze, your brow furrowed in concentration, the precise angle of your strike dictating the depth of the cut. The air, despite the coolness of the rock, is heavy and still, carrying the faint, sweet scent of newly exposed stone. Your muscles ache, a deep, familiar throb in your shoulders and forearms. From dawn's first blush, you've been here, bent over this unyielding surface, coaxing form from inert matter. Your mallet, worn smooth by countless blows, feels like an extension of your own hand. Each careful strike, each tiny chip that falls away, reveals more of the hidden design. A pharaoh's profile slowly emerges, regal and serene, from the rough stone. This isn't just labor, it's a conversation with the rock, a testament to the gods and the eternal life beyond. Around you, other artisans work, each lost in their own world of precision and patience. The occasional scrape of a sander, the soft hiss of a brush, the low, almost musical hum of a distant chant from another section of the complex. These are the only companions to your focused effort. You feel the grit between your teeth, the dryness in your throat, a constant reminder of the physical demands of your craft. But as the image gains clarity, as the eye of the pharaoh seems to gaze out from the stone, a surge of pride warms you, pushing back against the fatigue. Your fingers trace the emerging lines, checking for subtle imperfections, for any deviation from the divinely inspired blueprint. There is no room for error here. This carving will last for millennia, a permanent offering, a bridge between mortals and the divine. The weight of that responsibility settles on your shoulders, a solemn counterpoint to the joy of creation. Your skill, honed over years, is not just for your own sustenance, but for the very fabric of existence, ensuring Ma'ah, the cosmic order, endures. As the sun begins its slow descent, painting the distant desert hills in hues of gold and rose, you step back, letting your tired eyes take in the day's progress. The figure, once trapped within the stone, now stands in elegant relief, awaiting the painter's touch. Your body screams for rest, your hands are stiff and sore, but a quiet satisfaction, deeper than any ache, settles within you. You are a creator, a custodian of eternity, and that unwavering sense of purpose makes every chiseled moment worthwhile. A fleeting human touch on something truly immortal. The first thing that greets you is the smell, deep and ancient. It's a dry, mingling scent of fine, chalky dust that tickles the back of your throat, and something else. A faint, sweet bitter aroma of old resins and embalming spices that seems to cling to the very air. You step deeper into the narrow, chiseled passage, the flickering torchlight struggling against the profound darkness that presses in from all sides. Each breath draws tiny particles of millennia into your lungs, a gritty coating on your tongue. Your bare feet shuffle on the uneven stone floor, echoing softly in the silence. The air is still, heavy, and cool, a stark contrast to the blazing sun outside, yet this coolness carries its own claustrophobic weight. The passage narrows further, forcing you to turn your body sideways in places, feeling the rough, unyielding stone against your linen tunic. Above you, the ceiling seems to bear down, reminding you of the colossal weight of the rock mountain that surrounds this silent city of the dead. Around you, on walls that gleam faintly in the torchlight, are carved and painted scenes. Gods and goddesses with animal heads, pharaohs making offerings, hieroglyphs dancing in silent procession, telling stories meant for eternity. Your fingers, calloused from a lifetime of labor, trace the cool, smooth surface of a painted offering table, feeling the incredible artistry, the devotion, etched into the stone. This isn't just a burial place, it's a meticulously crafted gateway, a sacred space designed to bridge worlds. A shiver, unrelated to the temperature, passes through you. You are surrounded by the whispers of the long departed, by their carefully preserved journeys into the afterlife. The sheer weight of belief, the constant presence of the divine in every depiction, is palpable. There are no sounds here but your own breathing, the soft scrape of your sandals, and the nervous thump of your own heart. It feels both sacred and unsettling, a constant reminder of the thin veil between life and what lies beyond. You know that many have labored here, carving, painting, carrying endless burdens through these very passages. Their dust, their sweat, their silent efforts are still part of this place. The feeling of being so utterly enclosed, so profoundly separated from the open sky and the vibrant world of the living, is immense. It's a powerful, sobering embrace of eternity, but also a stark reminder of the fragile, temporary existence that once walked these very halls, a life now reduced to dust and legend, held close by the unyielding rock. The sharp, pungent scent of worked leather, sun-baked and oiled, immediately assaults your senses as you step onto the training ground. It mingles with the coppery tang of sweat and the dry, powdery smell of stirred earth, filling the air around you. Your eyes squint against the relentless glare of the morning sun, still low but already fierce, turning the vast expanse of the dusty plain into a shimmering, hazy landscape that seems to stretch endlessly towards the distant, shimmering line of the desert. Already, the heat begins its familiar crawl up your legs, through the thin linen of your kilt. A deep rumble, growing louder with each passing breath, vibrates through the very ground beneath your bare feet. It's the unmistakable sound of solid wood and bronze, of taut harnesses straining and heavy wheels churning, the magnificent, terrifying rattle of a charging chariot squadron. Dust plumes rise like angry genii from the earth, marking their furious path across the training fields. Your heart quickens its beat, a frantic drum against your ribs, matching the powerful, coordinated rhythm of the horses' hooves as they thunder past, their muscles rippling under taut, glistening coats. You can almost feel the wind of their passage, the sheer, raw power they embody. You reach for your own equipment, feeling the familiar weight settle onto your shoulders as you adjust the simple linen tunic and the crisscrossing protective leather straps across your chest. The rough texture of the leather chafes slightly where your skin is already reddened by the incessant sun, but you ignore it. This uniform, minimal as it is, marks you. It separates you from the farmers and the craftsmen. You are a man of arms, a vital part of something larger, a single thread meticulously woven into the formidable tapestry of the Pharaoh's military might. Your fingers tighten around the smooth, familiar grip of your bow, the cool, strong flaxen string settling against your calloused palm. The quiver, heavy with arrows tipped with sharpened bronze, brushes against your side with every slight movement. Beside you, other soldiers prepare, their faces set in grim determination, reflecting a shared purpose that binds you all. Their movements are a practiced, silent ballet of readiness, each man knowing his place, his duty. The air hums with a palpable tension, an anticipation that is both exhilarating and terrifying. This isn't just daily practice, it's a constant, demanding ritual, a dedication to a divine order where unwavering strength protects the realm and ensures Ma'at prevails. You watch the chariots turn in a sweeping, controlled arc, their drivers leaning expertly into the turns, their archers poised, arrows nocked, a living, breathing testament to the strategic power of Egypt. This rigorous discipline, this unceasing preparation, is not a choice, it is your life, your inescapable contribution. There is no other path for you, no soft respite from this vital, demanding readiness. You lift your chin, feeling the insistent burn of the sun on your throat, a small but resolute warrior, one among many, in a world that asks for everything you have, and often, more. The dull, persistent ache in your left knee is a constant companion, a deep throb that flares with every movement, every shift of your weight on the unforgiving dirt floor. It's a familiar, bitter greeting each morning, a silent scar that speaks volumes without a single word. The air in your small, mud-brick home hangs heavy with the scent of stale cooking embers and the faint, ever-present dust, thick enough to coat your tongue, even indoors. You reach out, your fingers brushing against the cool, rough surface of the wall, seeking a moment of steadying support as you push yourself upright from your sleeping mat. Your leg protests, a sharp, searing pain shooting from your knee down to your ankle. You grimace, a silent battle playing out on your face, your jaw clenching involuntarily. The limb, once strong and reliable, now feels like a traitor, a useless weight that drags you down. You remember the chaotic clang of bronze on bronze, the sickening twist, the immediate, blinding agony. There was no skilled physician to set it right, no clean bandages or soothing medicines. Only the crude splint, the prayers to Sekhmet, and the slow, agonizing crawl of time in a field tent, hoping against hope. It healed, yes, but wrong. Now, the knee refuses to bend fully, a stiff, protesting knot of bone and sinew. Every step is a calculated effort, a careful dance around the pain. You watch your young ones, nimble and quick, darting through the cramped space, and a pang of frustration, sharp and raw, pierces through you. You can no longer chase them, no longer lift the heaviest water jars without a grunt of effort, no longer keep pace with the others in the fields when the time for harvest comes. Your contribution, your very ability to earn your daily bread, has been irrevocably altered. You hobble towards the small, central hearth, where a few twigs crackle, trying to rekindle some warmth into the coolness of dawn. The simple act of bending down to fan the embers sends another jolt through your leg, and you catch yourself, leaning heavily on the rough wooden door frame. There's no soft cushion, no comforting remedy waiting. Just the relentless march of time, the unspoken burden of your weakened state on your family, and the constant, nagging fear of what the next season, the next demanding task, will bring. You pour a small amount of water over your hands from a clay jug, washing off the grime of the night, your movements slow, deliberate. The cool water offers a fleeting respite, a temporary distraction from the internal fire of your injury. This body, once a dependable tool, now feels like a worn-out vessel, its strength diminished, its future uncertain. You stand there, a testament to survival, yet acutely aware of the persistent fight, the everyday resilience demanded just to endure, without the luxury of healing, or even proper rest. A cool breeze, carrying the faint, dry scent of the distant desert, raises goosebumps on your arms as you step out of your cramped mud-brick home. Above you, the sky is a breathtaking expanse of deepest indigo, velvet black at its zenith, and studded with an unimaginable cascade of brilliant stars. They don't merely twinkle, they blaze, sharp and clear, seeming close enough to touch in the absolute absence of any light but their own. The air is still, save for the soft rustle of dry reeds from a nearby canal, and the occasional distant howl of a jackal, a mournful sound that sends a shiver down your spine despite its familiarity. You lean against the sun-warmed clay wall of your dwelling, your gaze fixed upwards, tracing the familiar patterns of the celestial river. There is Sa, the great hunter, striding across the heavens, and Masektiu, the unmoving ladle, anchoring the northern sky. Each star, each constellation tells a story, a divine decree woven into the fabric of the cosmos. You feel incredibly small under this vast, silent dome, a single breath in a world governed by powers far beyond human comprehension. Yet, you are part of it, intimately connected to the cycles these gods dictate. A whispered prayer escapes your lips, a humble offering to the unseen forces that oversee your existence. You ask for protection for your family from disease and hungry creatures of the night. You pray for the enduring bounty of the Nile, for the annual flood that brings life, for a good harvest that will fill your meager stores. These are the small, constant demands of the gods, mirrored in the small, constant demands of your life: daily bread, safety, the promise of another dawn. The vastness above is both comforting and terrifying, a constant reminder of the fragile balance you inhabit, the ever-present ma'ah that must be upheld. The quiet murmurs of your sleeping family drift from within the house, a soft counterpoint to the cosmic silence. You feel the coolness of the night air on your skin, a welcome respite after the day's oppressive heat, which still radiates faintly from the earth beneath your bare feet. A tiny beetle, drawn by some unseen urge, scuttles silently across the dirt near your toes, a miniature echo of life's persistent pulse. You are acutely aware of the unseen world around you. Scorpions hiding in the shadows, snakes slithering through the brush, spirits lingering between realms. Yet, under the gaze of the watchful gods, you find a measure of peace. This silent communion with the night sky is a moment of profound reflection, a brief escape from the relentless grind of labor and the ever-present struggle for survival. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the constellations imprint themselves behind your eyelids, feeling the immense weight of time, of tradition, of unwavering faith. Your life is but a flicker, a fleeting spark against the backdrop of eternity, but in that moment, under the endless stars, you feel a deep, resonant connection to something ancient and enduring, a small human pulse in the vast, cosmic rhythm. A faint, sweet sickly scent of something unidentifiable yet omnipresent clings to the air around you, subtly different from the dust and the dry earth. You rub your forearm, feeling the persistent film of sweat and grime that never quite seems to wash away, a perpetual companion on your skin. Your throat feels perpetually parched, not from thirst alone, but from the grit that seems to infiltrate every breath, every sip of lukewarm water. You long for the simple act of a refreshing rinse, a crisp, clean taste, a true scrubbing away of the day's toil. But here, the closest thing is the shared basin, the well-worn sponge, the water already murky from other hands. A dull throb settles behind your eyes, a familiar headache building with the relentless sun that beats down, even through the thin roof of your dwelling. There's no easy remedy, no cool cloth, no simple potion. Just the quiet endurance, the hope it will pass before the demanding tasks of tomorrow. Your back aches from hauling water, your feet burn from the sun-baked ground, and every small cut or scrape feels like a potential gateway for unseen danger. a silent threat in a world without modern salves or disinfectants. The taste of coarsely ground bread and thick, barely fermented beer fills your mouth, the staples of every meal, every day. You crave something else, a burst of flavor, a different texture, the simple luxury of choice. But here, variety is a feast only the highest priests or nobles might glimpse, and your survival depends on the predictable, repetitive bounty of the Nile, humble and unadorned. The rough texture of your single linen garment chafes against your skin, providing minimal protection from biting insects and the sun's harsh rays. There's no soft change of clothes, no comfort woven into the fabric. You feel a deep, quiet weariness settle into your bones, not just from physical labor, but from the constant vigilance, the absence of effortless comfort, the sheer, unyielding effort of simply being. You miss the soft give of a modern mattress, the cool breath of circulated air, the instantaneous relief of a fresh, clean drink from a tap. Each passing moment makes you realize how much you unknowingly rely on 1,000 small inventions, 1,000 unseen hands that cater to your every comfort in a different age. And yet, as you watch the stoic faces around you, the way they move with an ingrained resilience, a quiet acceptance of their world, a profound respect stirs within you. They thrive, they build, they believe, in conditions that would break you, perhaps even in a single day. You understand, in a way no history book could ever teach, the true strength of a spirit forged not in luxury, but in the relentless, enduring heat of existence. You stand there, a visitor from another time, bowing silently to a humanity whose daily battle was a testament to an almost unimaginable tenacity.